Welcome back to another episode of Rob Sports Center. As you can see by the title and by the thumbnail, today we're going to be breaking down some film from Deebo's game against the Green Bay Packers. So let's get straight into it, man. So the very first play, it looks like Green Bay is in some type of form of cover three. You see that they got a single high safety, and you see that the corners are playing with their butts to the sideline. Now, notice that if you watch this game, or if you didn't watch this game, notice that when I'm breaking down this film, a lot of what the Green Bay Packers were doing were in zone coverage. Now, here's the benefits of playing zone coverage against a quarterback like Jayden Daniels. When you're dealing with a quarterback like Jayden Daniels, who's such a big threat to run and hurt you with his legs, playing zone coverage allows your defenders to be able to keep their eyes on him, keep their eyes at the backfield, so it minimizes the opportunities that he possibly have to run, where if they were playing man, their backs would be to the quarterback because they will be focused on the receiver. So by the time they realize that Jayden Daniels is scrambling, he's already probably got the first down in this study eating up yardage. So playing zone allows those guys to be able to keep their eyes in the backfield. Now going back to Deebo, like I was saying, one of the things that make Deebo so difficult to game plan for is that you just don't know where they're going to line him up and how they're going to utilize him. So right here, they don't send him on a route downfield. They have him lined up on one formation. They send him in motion pre-snap, post-snap. He's already still in motion, kind of just going to like a little check down option. Jayden Daniels didn't really like what he's seen downfield, being that they were in the cover three. So he just kind of took what the defense gave him, and it was a little check down route. You see that the defender kind of slips, and that made him a little hesitant because if he would have slipped, he would have been able to get downhill. Now, granted, you still have to be able to make a tackle on Deebo Samuel in open field, which is very difficult. But bringing a player like Deebo Samuel, this is the versatility you get. He can go downfield for routes, downfield, or he can just be a simple option, a check down safe option like right here. And like I said, the whole goal is to just find creative ways to get the ball in your playmaker's hand, such as this one, and they get the ball to him in a little check down, and he's able to eat up some yards after the catch. So once again, right here, man, like I say, as a defense, you have to identify exactly where he's going to be lining up. So once again, it makes it very, very hard to possibly try to double team him. See, if he was just going to be lining up out wide, it would be more easy to locate him play to play. So it would be more easy for you to double team him. But so far, we just seen they ran a condensed formation where they had him lined up on the single receiver side and sent him in motion. And now you see they got him lined up out wide. You got no running back in the backfield, just Jayden Daniels, empty backfield, and they just run a little simple wide receiver screen, and they kind of got him lined up in that tight end type position. So this was just a good draw up, and then they used him kind of as a delayed blocker as well, which was kind of like a delayed screen to where they didn't just drop into a screen immediately. It's like they kind of showed as if it was just going to be a typical pass play, and he was hesitant as if he was going to block, and the offensive line was a little hesitant as if they were going to pass protect. So it was just a good play call, and they get the ball to Deebo Samuel in space, and they got some big bodies in front of him. So it's already hard enough to tackle Deebo Samuel in space just one-on-one. Now you put big bodies in front of him just like on this play right here, it makes it that much difficult. But also, man, I know that this is the Deebo Samuel video, man, but just look at this is the difference between the NFL, the college, or NFL from college. So look at Michael Parsons right there. You see that they have him highlighted. So right here in the college, this play right here probably goes for a first down, who knows, maybe even more possibly, right? But in the NFL, guys become so much more athletic, and this just goes to show you the effort that Michael Parsons gives play to play too. And this shows you what makes him so good. It's not necessarily that he's the biggest guy, but it's the effort play to play. So this guy pursues from the left side of the formation. So just watch this. They got him highlighted. He pursues from the left side of the formation and is able to chase this pass downfield and make the tackle in the next level. So that's the difference between the NFL and college when you look at it, man. This is why, and this is what it is. This night and day difference. The level of athleticism from these guys on the next level is insane. So this play right here showcases why it's beneficial to have plays out of the same formation to keep the defense on its toes in terms of being able to predict what you're going to be able to do. So you see the previous clip, they ran the same formation, empty backfield, but they end up running the screen pass out of this. So right here you got Deebo Samuel lined up in a position typically that you would have the tight end lined up once again. You gotta have a situation, and you know who is a person in this game and with this team in particular who can rack any play, and that's Michael Parsons. But specifically for this guy to have it play and especially a third and long, that's prime real estate for Michael Parsons to be able to do what Michael Parsons does. So they use Deebo Samuel as a chip blocker before he goes out into his route. So you see that they got him matched up on the outside over here with this right tackle, and they use Deebo Samuel kind of just to be able to help him to kind of be to be able to kind of slow down his momentum and not just really allow for him to have just a free one-on-one with the right tackle. And also what that does too is the art of selling. So they use Deebo Samuel Samuel as a chip blocker. So the defense, for the most part, and once they realize that he's blocking, kind of declares him as ineligible. So they just end up, once he blocks and the guys kind of just drop off, he just runs like a little simple kind of like little slot swing route where he kind of just runs as if it was like a little, kind of run as if he was going outside. He was going to stem it outside, and he just bounces it back in kind of like just for a delayed slant. And obviously, man, once again, what makes him so lethal is when he gets the ball in his hands in space, and he's just able to make things happen. So right here, he's able to get the ball in space and kind of beat the guy to the point. The safety kind of took a bad angle at him, and once you take a bad angle at Deebo, man, you pretty much can kiss your opportunity to be able to make a play on him goodbye, and that's what he does right here. Get the ball to him in space. Now, one of the things that makes this play happen too is the ball placement from Jaden Daniels. If this ball is placed anywhere else other than where it's at, it's a delayed catch for him, and now it allows the defense to be able to come downhill and make a play on him well before he gets to the first down. But Jaden Daniels just does a good job at putting that ball right there at the one. He's able to catch it in full stride and be able to maximize on the yards gained after this, and they was able to actually get the first down on this play. All right, so right here on this play, you got them lined up in a condensed formation, meaning that they got the receiver, where everything is so much more compact to where they got the receivers closer to the line of scrimmage. Now, a lot of times this you run this formation to try to, well, this actually is a trend in the NFL, man. If you look around the scope of the NFL, a lot of teams are running a lot more condensed formations, and the whole objective of that is to be able to just try to cause confusion and create confusion within the defense. I mean, if guys, especially if it's man coverage, if guys aren't communicating exactly, okay, this is who I have, this is who you have, then it can leave guys running scotch free, and then also it creates those natural picks and rub routes whenever you have things so compact like this. So right here they just run a tight formation, and he actually has Scary Terry right there for the first down. If you look at it right here, you got Scary Terry highlighted, so he's lined up on the outside. Once Deebo Samuel goes in motion, he's on the single receiver side, and right there in that little space, in that little opening, they had Scary Terry. Now granted, I think the pass rush was pretty effective on Jaden Daniels in this game, so he probably thought that he had less time than what he actually had, obviously, because they were kind of getting back there in the backfield. And once again, you notice that they're in a too high safety, so it looks like they're probably in some type of version of a cover 4, obviously. So they're trying to take away, well, actually, I take that back. That look like that might be a cover 3, actually, because if you look at it pre-snap, you see that they have a single high. So I think that actually was a cover 3. So obviously the objective of a cover 3 is to take away the options downfield. So you know, obviously it leaves the underneath things, just like similar to this play right here. And a big part of quarterbacking, honestly, man, is just taking what the defense gives you. Every defense is going to play you differently. Some defenses are going to play you in a single high structure. Some defenses are going to play you more too high. So basically it varies game to game. So you have certain games where certain players may be more effective based on the scheme that the defense is running. So right here, they just send Deebo Samuel once again, send him in motion on a little swing route. Jaden Daniels doesn't like what he has downfield. Nothing is back down there just because of the cover 3, and he just checks the ball, simply just checks the ball down to the Deebo Samuel. Now, this is why I say that the Green Bay defense have been playing their butts off all season long, because I'm a defensive guy, and I love to see, I love to see that those guys go hunting. So just notice how many white hats you have around the ball once Deebo gets that ball. You see, you got 1, you got 2, you got guys pursuing from the back end, as well as guys coming down here. Like, look at all those white jerseys over there, man. To me, that's beauty within football, and especially when you're dealing with a guy like Deebo Samuel. You don't want to task one person to be tasked with tackling him, because that's a hard job. You see, the first person that gets to him miss him. So we want to make tackling a team job. That way, if the first person misses him, if we all rally to the ball just like right here, we minimize on the opportunities that he has to be able to get yards after the catch. And not only that, if you got a guy who's able to get to him and secure the tackle, the next guys that's coming in can try to go for the football to try to be able to rip that thing loose. So that's one of the reasons why I say that the Green Bay defense, to me, has been playing their butts off so far this season. So right here, you have a red zone possession, man. So, I always put extra emphasis on the red zone. When you get down to the red zone, man, you want to be able to come up with points. So you always hear me use the term gotta have it. And gotta have it are typically reserved for third down plays, fourth down plays, things like that. But for me, when you get into the red zone, every player is a gotta have it. So no matter if it's a first down, second down, third down, or even fourth down, when you get down here, you want to be able to score points. So once again, they go empty backfield with just Jaden Daniels in a shotgun. So they send the house on this play. When I mean by they send the house, I'm talking about Green Bay. So they just pretty much send all-out blitz. You see that they got 6 guys at the line of scrimmage, and opposed to dropping 2 guys back into pass coverage and just rushing 4, they send the house right here. So Jaden Daniels is aware of that, and he knows that I have to get that ball out of my hand quickly. So you have the guy that's closest to him, which is Deebo Samuel, once again lined up in that slot position. And like I said, once again, man, when it comes to a defense and trying to figure out ways to take Deebo Samuel out of the game is very difficult, because you just don't know where he's going to line up at. Like, we've seen him pretty much do a lot of different things in just this one video alone. So that just makes it so much harder to be able to try to just key in on him. And then especially when you got Terry McLaurin also, you can't put too much focus on Deebo, because Deebo will hurt you. So it just, they become a pretty difficult team to just match up with. So they just run a simple slant route. Obviously, he's able to get the ball to him in a pretty timely manner. And once again, you got a guy that just misses the tackle on him. That poster kind of had him before he was able to get into the end zone. But when he goes to try to get the tackle on him, he kind of just slows him and trips him up a little bit. But you just see the good contact balance of Deebo Samuel to be able to just stay on his feet just for a split second longer and to be able to get into the end zone for the score. All right, man. So for the final play, man, you got Deebo Samuel lined up on the outside. So like I say, man, you got to just locate this guy and figure out exactly where he's going to be lined up, man. We've seen him lined up on the slot. We've seen him lined up closer to the line of scrimmage, like typically where the tight end lines up. And right here, we see him lined up out wide. And obviously, you know that the Packers were playing, like I said, we're playing a lot of zone coverage, which was allowing for them to be able to get their eyes in the backfield and watch Jaden Daniels. So a part of playing that zone coverage, which it looks like they typically kind of was employing a cover 4, they were playing what you would call soft defense on the receivers, meaning that they were playing off. So a thing that you can do when you're going up against a team who decides that they're going to kind of play you in that off position, give that cushion, is you can run a thing where you can call it a stop route, you can call it a little look route, where the quarterback just snaps the ball and just gets the ball quickly to his guy on the outside to try to give him opportunities to be able to run after the catch. And obviously, you know, when you have a guy like Deebo Samuel, you want to be able to try to find any way possible. And if you really look at it, man, in this game right here, a lot of how he hurt them really was underneath. Once again, like I said, man, a big part of quarterbacking, honestly, and not just quarterbacking, offense period, is just taking what the defense give you. You know, you don't want to play into the strength of the defense. So if these guys are going to be playing in a coverage designed to take away vertical threats, then you have to just try to find ways to make them respect it and try to adjust the defense to give you those shots to be able to take the shots downfield. But like I said, man, with Deebo, man, if you're going to give him this, then obviously we're going to take it, because we know what he can do with the ball in his hands in space. So like right here, once again, like I said, you know, tackling a guy like Deebo is a team effort, and it's not just to be tasked with one guy. Once again, you see all the white jerseys around the ball, but just look at how many guys he miss before he goes down, man. That's 1. That's 2. Let's see. That's almost 3. And then look at, you got Michael Parsons once again pursuing from the left side of the formation to be able to try to come downfield once again into the second level, typically where the linebackers will be able to make the tackle or the safety will be able to come downhill and make the tackle. And like I said, man, this is one of the things that makes Green Bay defense to me so good to me, man, because like I say, their effort that they give play to play, and their teamwork, their camaraderie to be able to rally to the ball play after play, and especially to get your defensive linemen to do that. It's one thing to have your secondary, the second level players, linebackers, safeties, corner, to be able to do it, but to get your defensive linemen pursuing from the back end, it minimizes the opportunities after the catch. So like I say, man, once again, man, typically if this college, maybe this goes for more, maybe this is a first down, but when you get into NFL, guys become so much more athletic that it minimizes the opportunities that you have to be able to just make a lot of things happen with yards after the catch or yards after the run. But man, if you guys did enjoy this video, man, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, man, make sure you subscribe. And when you subscribe, make sure that you turn that notification bell on, that way you be notified every single time I upload. And I'll see y'all in the next video.